He Said, She Said, a male and female perspective on marital issues. So this is going to be a series, and today we're going to focus on the He Said part of this discussion. I've actually been looking forward to this event for the longest time because I haven't had the chance to be joined by prominent men like you to have a conversation about marital issues. So men are misunderstood, especially by women like me. Is it because women are not clear with how men think? So in this forum, I will have the chance to ask tough questions for you women watching this video. So you will hear from these men from different backgrounds and age what they wished women knew about men. And today, I have the privilege of being with a panel of distinguished men, leaders in their own industry. And here with us is Mr. Boni de Jesus, Mr. Paolo Sitaca, Mr. Ed Patron, Mr. J. Aquino, and Mr. Dominic Marasigan. So, I actually intended this originally to be in a living room setting. So we'll just use our imagination and pretend that we are in a living room together. But it's a virtual living room. So let me ask each one of you to first say something about yourself to our virtual audience on what you do, how long you've been married, and if you have kids, how many? Let's start off with Paolo kasi he's the first one here in the gallery.
All right. Good evening or good afternoon or good morning, whatever the time may be. I'm Paolo. I've been married for about 22 years now. And we have a 12-year-old daughter who is turning 13 this month.
Wow.
Iha.
Okay. Thanks, Paolo. Can we ask Jay to say something about himself? You're on mute.
Sorry.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jay Aquino. I've been married for 25 years now.
Wow.
I'm married when I was 12. Just kidding. I have 2 kids, and my eldest is 24. Who's staying in Manila. I'm now assigned in Malaysia together with my wife and our daughter, who's 15.
So can you tell us what you do again, Jay?
I do sales and marketing. I head the business of SC Johnson for Malaysia.
Okay, great. Paolo, I think you didn't mention what you do as a profession.
I run my own management consulting firm.
Okay, thank you. Wow, I'm so honored to be with all of you. So, Mr. Boni de Jesus.
Yeah, I'm a financial and business consultant, a freelancer. I'm married to Stella for 41 years now.
41.
Don't compute my age. We have 3 children, all adults. One is married. The other 2 are single. We have 1 apo.
1 apo na. Okay. 1 lang
One. Still waiting.
Okay, let's go now to Mr. Ed Patron.
Hi, I'm Ed. I'm a management consultant for Sky Cable. I've been married for 39 years. I have 5 kids. All of them except 1, my daughter, are married. I have 7 grandchildren, and I'm looking forward to more grandkids.
Wow.
7, natalo ka, Mr. De Jesus.
Oo nga eh. I feel so, envious.
Yeah, right.
Baka pwedeng hiramin ni Mr. De Jesus ang anak ni Mr. Patron.
Di bale, pwede pang umabol.
Okay, and last but not the least, Mr. Dominic Marasigan.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dominic, and I think I'm the one that's going to be sticking out here since I am no longer married, so I am single. I
Okay.
grew up in the States, so basically I'm divorced. I've been divorced over 20 years. I have two
Okay.
kids. One is 27. The other one is a daughter who's around 8 years old right now.
Okay, great. Okay, so let me start off with a light question because I know that all of you are nervous with my questions. Okay, first one about physical attraction. What actually attracted you to your wife? Try to think. What attracted you? Physical ba or spiritual?
Physical.
Physical. Okay, si Jay.
Definitely physical.
Physical first.
Yeah.
Okay, Bonnie.
Physical.
Physical. Ed.
Physical.
Physical. Aminin mo na. Okay,
Oh.
Dominic.
Yeah, I
Dominic.
think everyone physical.
Physical. Okay, so I'm interested to know, kasi Dominic is single now. What would be the top 3 things that would make you commit to a woman? Top 3 things that you...
Okay.
Oo.
Is this me? You're addressing me?
Yeah.
Okay. Top 3 things now, since I'm a different perspective now, more mature. It's more spiritual for me first.
Mm.
Then physical would be, because you need the compatibility.
Mm-mm.
Next would be physical. And the third would be common interest. And I think the common interest would fall into the spirituality.
Okay. So, when all of you answered physical di ba? So, those of you who are married, do you think the physical aspect is still important?
May I?
Yes, yes.
It still is, I must say, although
Okay.
it's not the only thing.
Yeah.
Because as you get to know each other, there are certain aspects that you would think, or in my case, I believe, will surpass the physical attraction, and you'll tell yourself, I married the right woman.
Yeah. So physical,
Okay.
kasi the reason why I asked that is for women who have been married for a long time, they don't care na to, fix up themselves kasi they don't know if men value the physical aspect. Even if they're married already. Like Paolo.
Still important. It's good to
important.
wake up in the morning and to see my wife's face. With or without makeup, it's
Yeah.
still important. But
Still
there are
important.
some other things that I value more than the physical.
Yes.
The
Oo.
physical is a bonus. It's good that I'm blessed with a beautiful wife. But there is something more that I value than her physical beauty.
Yeah.
Oo. But it's important.
Yes, it is.
Oo, kasi men are visual right?
Primarily.
So that it's not the most important thing for you, but it's important, right?
Yes.
Because I need the women also to know. Okay. So now, I think one of the major issues also in marriages or relationships between men and women is communication. One of the major issues. Okay? So kaming mga women, we think that men don't like to talk. Is that an accurate assessment of men? Would you say it's an accurate assessment that men don't like to talk?
May I?
Yes, Jay.
I'm speaking on behalf of myself, my personality. Medyo hindi talaga ako masyadong nag-engage in talking, initiating discussion with my wife. Although communication, I know, is very important. But yes, for me, myself, hindi ako masyado.
You mentioned with your wife, but with men, do you like to talk?
You mean with other men?
Yes.
Well, depends on the topic. If other men will be talking about cars or or anything that interests
Or
me, then
sports.
yeah,
Uh-uh.
yeah.
How about Paolo?
Communication, okay.
You
Since
don't like to talk?
I love to listen more than to talk. But sometimes I have to be honest na it depends on um, whether I just came off from work or a very busy day. Because I'm a thinker, I am mostly preoccupied. So
Okay.
there are many instances where my wife talks to me and I'm not there. I'm not present. So I
Okay.
miss it. So I have to be sat down or I have to be in full attention to give uh, my wife that what they call it the quality time that she deserves.
Okay.
So and I have to clear my mind of things to really fully be engaged in the moment.
Okay.
I'm,
So
I'm
that
not proud of it, but I can agree with Pao because sometimes
uh,
I get that from my wife most often that I'm not there always when she talks to me.
You have to
okay.
Same here.
Same here. So segue ako dun sa question na what would make you talk to your spouse? What would make you talk? Kunyari, if your wife tells you we have to talk, will you talk?
That's the wrong phrase.
Wrong, di ba? Di ba? Lalo nagsha-shutdown yung
Yeah.
lalaki, di ba? When the women say, can we talk?
Yeah.
Parang
It's too
nakakatakot.
formal.
Nakatakot, di ba? Threatening ba yon? Threatening, parang ano na naman ginawa ko.
Yes.
Di ba? Tama ba ako?
Yes.
Yeah,
Tama,
nakakatakot
ano?
yan.
Sa,
Ed,
May
sa akin,
danger yun,
sa akin,
danger.
in my earlier years of being married, um, I was looking forward to that night or a few moments of conversation with my wife.
mm,
Kasi I'd also been with sales and in the first 10 years of our marriage, I think we moved 10 times, no? And there were times na I'm out uh, and nothing will replace that conversation when I get home. Either I tell her stories about my experience, like my first assignment outside of Metro Manila was when San Miguel assigned me to Ilocos. No? When I was 23, I was already married. I got married at 21. So parang, oh, okay to. Mukhang masarap to assignment na to. I wasn't Christian then. Pero even then, masarap lang siya pag nag-work ka eh. Pero pag uwi mo, naka-hotel ako eh. So parang siyang empty, you know. And that kind of a situation never changed. Even when, for example, I worked with Kraft and Jay, I also got assigned in KL for a while, no. And my first month, I was alone. The family was not with me yet because I was waiting for visa, school, etc. And believe it or not, I thought one of the more important moments that I had with my wife was when I was able to share my experience for the day, and she her experience for the day. Kasi yun ang naging discipline namin, I think, sa aming dalawa na please talk. Kasi yung wife ko, mas nakakatakot pag yung silent treatment, parang what's this? What's next? No, what's coming? And my wife kasi is an introvert, like me. I am too. So gusto ko yung nag-uusap kami. Parang ang hirap manghula. Bakit ayaw kong kausapin ito? Ano kaya nagawa ko? So effective sa akin yun eh. So I'm always asking, is there anything wrong? What did I do this time? Parang ganun ba? So, importante sa akin yung nakakapagkwento ako sa kanya.
So, parang that's kasi na the nature of your work because you're in sales that you like to talk. Kasi parang you're not a typical man eh. I mean, I think most men don't like to talk. or don't like to share what they did in the office, yung ganyan.
You know, one of the other things that I'd like to point out is that salespeople are not necessarily very talkative. In fact, the most effective sales guys are those who listen more than they talk. Yes, like Zig Ziglar. I'm sure JJ knows that. No, and it's a stereotype. And in the same way, I think that early on kasi, my dad told me that, you know, pag uwi mo, pagdating mo sa bahay, yung hat na yon na suot mo, dapat isabit mo na yan sa pinto. Huwag mo nang dalhin yan. So with the conversations be pleasant, not always because you have problems sa office, no? But my wife is my ultimate advisor. She's always able to keep my feet on the ground. Palagi. So is that typical? I'm not sure. Atypical, but yeah. I guess that's why I'm married up to now. The same wife, huh?
Same wife. Of course, the same wife. So, I'm interested, what stops you from talking to your wife or opening up? Or when is a bad time to talk to you? Mas specific. When you're watching a game? When you're in the computer, is that a bad time to talk to you? Ang tahimik ni Bonnie.
Sasagutin ko. Ako kasi, I'm an introvert. My wife is an extrovert. So, and I'm a thinker. My job is a lot of analysis and less of talking. When I talk, it seems it will be like there's something really to say. So that has been my orientation. And I came from a family where my dad seldom talked. So that has been my personality ever since. So when we were younger, I love listening to my wife talking. She does talk a lot because she's an extrovert. And she talks about people she met, people she talked to outside, you know. So I just enjoyed it. But yeah, I just listen. When she keeps quiet, I will feel like worried because there must be something wrong, right? Therefore, yeah, when I talk, I want to be understood. So when I feel like I will not be understood, I won't talk anymore.
You don't express it na.
Yeah, I won't express it anymore because I seldom talk.
Okay.
So I talk to be understood.
So when Stella stops talking, do you talk? That kind of pushes you to talk?
If I sense that I will be able to express everything to be understood, then I will start talking. But if I sense that I may not be understood, and it might result to just conflict, then I will keep quiet.
But what would be your gauge that you will not be understood?
Maybe it's personality, like I'm most of the time quiet and I talk in short sentences. I don't go around the bush. And therefore, if you don't listen intently and ask me questions and you don't, you're not interested in what I'm gonna say, most probably you won't understand me, because the kind of communication that I have is all about, short sentences and short explanation.
Is it right or accurate when I say that the only or one of the best ways to make men talk is when the women get into your world by, like, if you like sports, we watch sports with you, and then that's when we talk to you. Yung parang we engage, like, yung casual na, yung, o kaya if you like, ano ba yung mga gusto ninyong panoorin? We sit down with you, yung ganon, or if you're into stocks, I learn about stocks, yung mga ganyan. What would make you talk? Kasi women like to converse eh. That's our need. What's the best time to talk to you? Or walang best time? Can you think? Dom, you've been silent.
Well, like I said, for me, I have a different point of view. So with me being single, and I have some single friends who I talk to, I think for me, I'm more open to talking. For example, if some of my female friends start talking about a different subject, I'm open to listen to what they say. Again, when I was married, the communication was very important. In fact, my job back then was I was an auditor, so I basically traveled most of the time. So when we talked, it was either on the phone, but when I got home, that's when we would talk. But our conversation would basically, it was everything from what she did. And what I like about conversations is something, it has to be, where it has to be some basis to it, rather than just going around in circles and just repeating the same thing. And there has to be some direction. That's for me. That's my point of view. Like, for example, let's say she brings up a topic that's more of a female side. I would go back and just ask questions because I wouldn't know. Same thing when she comes on her side. If I converse something that she doesn't know, of course she's going to be asking questions, and I would basically answer those questions. It's the same thing if she, like I said, if she said something about some female, let's say some female fashion or some accessory that she's talking about, I would ask, oh, why would you want to pick that? That's how I'd carry on the conversation.
So, can I hear an answer with the question that I asked? That when is the best time to talk to you?
For me, it's any time, just long as she sees. Let's say because what I do is basically I coach students in trading, and so if I'm not doing a coaching session, I'm saying, right. But other than that, just long as she says, "Are you free? Are you free to talk?" Then I'd be open to that.
Okay.
I want to answer.
Yes, Paolo.
In my case, I need to be cued. So I have to switch to give my full attention. Otherwise,
Like
for
how?
example,
Like how?
Otherwise, for example, I'm just washing my hands or brushing my teeth, and then she's in the room. I'm in the restroom. Sometimes she raises her voice, tries to talk to me. I can't hear it because the fan is on, the water is flowing, and by the time I get out, sometimes what happens is that, oh, she was talking to me, but I didn't know, and vice versa that happens. So I want to give my attention, but sometimes I'm engaged in, for example, in what I'm doing with a computer, or before when we used to have TV, I'm in my cave, and then she's talking while passing by behind me. That doesn't help for me. She really needs to get my attention. Gladys does. So when she gets my attention first to engage me in a conversation, that works best for me. Because I love to listen.
Oo, kailangan engage muna kayo. Kasi you're not multitaskers, right?
I'm not. I particularly am very bad at multitasking.
So, kunyari, you're watching something and then the wife talks to you, you will not hear it kasi you're so
It's hard
engaged
to see.
It's hard.
It's hard.
Yep.
It's hard.
Guilty as charged.
I think the context now, I can understand where you're coming from, no? When is the best time to talk? Because men, I believe, like me, it takes time for me to shift my mind because when I'm doing something, it's like it's in depth and like
Yeah.
it's more of like this is what I am engaged now. I cannot do another thing, you know. Then you start talking to me, it takes time for me to switch, and when I switch, it takes time for me to go back. So I would rather finish what I'm doing now before I answer you.
Yeah.
But
I think
it's not intentional. It's more of like it's my nature.
that's how you are wired.
Yes, exactly.
Not like the women, we can have our minds in the
You can
kitchen
switch,
and
yeah.
then my patient, and I think the women need to hear this as well. Because some of the women, or in my early, years in marriage, I would misinterpret that as my husband doesn't care for me.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to talk to me, yung ganon. So, ganyan. So I think the women need to hear that and respect that, that the way God designed you.
Yeah. Max Gungor calls that our nothing box. It's a box which allows us to spend hours on end fishing.
Empty lang. Oh.
There's nothing there. It's a nothing box. And I guess to your point, Cynthia, it probably is not a good time to talk to a man if he's in that box.
The nothing box.
The nothing box. No?
Yeah, I learned that.
You could nudge him out of it if, for example, see Paolo was saying, and I like that. I think it happens to many of us. No, the wife keeps talking. You're in the shower. You're shaving. You feel a lot of buzz around you, and say, "Okay, what? What? I was talking to you. Oh, I didn't realize you were. I mean, so we were not in the nothing box, but we are not as multitaskers as our wives could be.
Yes.
But at any point in time, in a outside of the nothing box, ako personally, my wife can talk to me anytime, except nga if I'm in that nothing box.
Okay, how do we know that you are in the nothing box?
Quiet.
Quiet.
There are signs like what I do.
What are the signs?
This was mentioned by Mark Gungor. You're sitting in front of the TV and you have the remote, and you keep on transferring the channels. I'm not actually watching TV.
Yeah.
I am in my nothing box.
Yeah, right.
I don't want to be bothered. I just want to rest my mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agree.
That is true.
So a lot of women need to hear this, kasi they think that their spouses don't care for them. They don't want to listen. So ngayon, nagsha-shut down din sila.
Nagsishut down. Wala talaga iniisip. Wala.
So kasi ganun ang impression nila. I know because I've been there too. So I misinterpret it. So I don't, sige, wag na lang, di ba? I will not talk to you na lang, ganun, di ba?
Hindi niya na ako
Hanggang mamaya, lumalalim na ng lumalalim. Mamaya, pag nag-away kayo, naging historical ka na. Di ba?
But here's my question though, Cynthia. If you're assuming that God is busy to talk, you never ask your husband, pwede ka ba mag-usap, or can we talk? Instead of just assuming, well, maybe he's busy.
This is my interview, for forum for that. Because I can answer that question.
Okay.
For the men.
For me, if they see that I'm like Ed would say, we're in our nothing box, but the thing is, why can't you just, because we're talking about communication, so communication is asking a question. So you say, are you busy to talk? Hindi sa no. Kasi if you're assuming, it's really not communication.
Kasi some men nga don't like being, hearing the phrase, can we talk? Parang it kinda puts them on defense eh. Ano na naman ang ginawa ko?
Yeah, precisely, yes.
So ano yung tingin ninyo? Like Dom, what would be, kasi you're unusual eh.
Yeah.
You're not in the norm.
Right, because I see like, for example, my brother and most of my friends they're all married. So I see, I'm seeing on a different point of view. I see the outside to see what's what may be wrong and what can be alleviated.
Yeah. Any additional comments?
I think, if I may, I'm just trying to recall. Conversely, when is the best time to talk to my wife? I know when is the best
Baligtad
time
daw.
not to
When
talk.
is what? Sorry?
When is the best time to talk to
Not
the wife?
okay.
Anytime, except in my case, she's very passionate about one thing: baking.
Baking.
Over the years, I've learned to stay out of her way if she's baking. Hindi niya ako naririnig eh. Naiintindihan ko rin naman yon. Kasi kung ako naman, nandun ako sa workshop ko, meron akong ginagawa, naglalagari ka doon o nagpupukpuk ka, baka mapukpuk mo pa yung thumb mo eh, di ba? So, ayaw mo rin na di-disturb ka. In the same way, I also respect that. Pero if like she's watching her favorite soap or Netflix, one nudge, hey, can I ask you something? So she puts it on pause, and nagtatanong lang naman ako, and then she can go back. So, in other words, I think over time, as we struggle and we strive to get to know our spouses, we get to know their love language. We will also get to know the kind of language that is best suited at any given time. For example, if you know that the husband is in his nothing box, I think we must also respect that.
Respect that space.
In the same way that when the wife, for example, in my case, is baking, I would respect that. It doesn't mean that she doesn't care for me anymore.
Yeah.
Ang ayoko lang, ako kasi magte-taste test. Medyo mataas ang sugar ko eh. Hindi so gusto rin niya, titikim ka pa din, di ba? Out of respect.
Okay.
I think that's also.
I'd like to add.
Yes, Paolo.
What actually helped for Gladys and I was to agree on a time to talk. So usually that's after dinner, before bed.
Pwede rin yun.
So because yun nga, I'm an intense person and it takes time for me to unwind. And when I'm still unwinding, it's not a good time to talk. And we've learned that the hard way, both of us. So right now we see ourselves doing the talking usually after dinner and after she's tutored via and before sleeping. We learned also what we call a 10-10, 10 minutes talk, 10 minutes listening, vice versa, to marriage encountered before. And to this day, we are able to practice that.
Nice. So, magandang tip yun, no? To set a time.
Yep.
Na dapat hindi soap opera time yan ng babae. Tapos hindi rin sports time ng lalaki.
Yeah.
Diba? Okay, so I'll shift
set a time. Yeah,
set a time. That's a good suggestion. Let's go. I'll jump to another topic, which is also important, which is the macho image. The ego. I think this is very important for men. A lot of women don't understand that. And one example, especially in the Filipino culture, how do you feel about doing household chores? Exempted si Dominic dito kasi he grew up in the USA. So for Filipino men, how do you feel about doing household chores? Is it do you feel it's demeaning for you?
Go ahead. Go ahead, Ed.
In straight answer is no. I remember during moments when we didn't have maids, nagbo-volunteer ako. I love to wash dishes, for example. Marunong akong mamalansya. Huwag mo lang ako paglalabahin. Hindi ako pang ganon. So my wife is that. So tumutulong ako maglinis ng and especially kung si JJ, some of us you can identify, no? Especially kung expat ka, you're living alone in the meantime, matututo ka din. So yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind taking the garbage out. I don't mind pushing the supermarket cart for my wife, especially when we were younger. Yun lang in time na another opportunity. Sabi nga ni Paolo, another good time to be with her and talk, no? Habang nagtutulak ka ng supermarket cart, no? Plus, masarap sumama sa supermarket kasi pag may nilagay siya doon, pag talikod niya, ibabalik mo naman ulit sa shelf, di ba?
How about for Boni?
Maraming times wala kaming katulong eh. And especially during the lockdown, nagkasakit yung katulong namin so hindi na namin pinabalik. So I wash the dishes morning, lunchtime, and evening, and a lot of things like cleaning the bathrooms, basement, pagka weekends. So clean the car, and somehow I have learned how to love housework. That kind, not every housework, na, but that kind. There are things that. I have two women in my house, my daughter and my wife. There are things that the women cannot do, like fix the light bulbs, and some. There are things throw the garbage. No, I know what I have to do because there are things that they cannot do. So in my childhood days, we were asked to do housework also. So it's nothing new to me. Kaya lang, may problem ako. Ang problem ko, habang nagtatrabaho ko, hindi mo ako pwede turuan kung paano ko gagawin kasi I have my own way. Hindi mo pwede sabihin sa akin, habang naghugas ako ng plato, hindi mo pwede sa akin sabihin na dapat ganito yan, dapat ganyan yan.
Yun, ego pa rin yun.
That's what I am. I have to be very clear on that kasi sabi ko, hindi ko kaya pagka nagtatrabaho ko, sinasabihan ako, mali yan.
Yeah, kasi that's important for men, right? How about expressing your emotions? Kasi macho image eh. Are you comfortable with expressing your emotions? Like kunyari nasaktan kayo.
I don't have any problem with expressing any emotion that I feel. Maiiyak ka. Ako, yun yung personality ko. I know where you're coming from kasi marami tayong napapanood before sa Filipino sitcoms or mga shows sa atin sa Pinas na pagdating ng tatay sa movie, aabutan ng tsinela. So parang ganun yung nagiging culture, di ba? Pero sa akin wala naman problema showing emotion and doing chores at home.
Okay. Any other comments?
I had to make adjustments. Yeah, because in high school particularly, I grew up with a group of men outside the home who taught me not to show emotions and to be cerebral about everything. So from then on, I learned to compartmentalize and not show my emotions, regardless whether it's work, relationships, etc. So to some extent, that made me survive things, crisis, etc. But I can't bring that to a marriage. It robbed me of the authenticity and the fullness of life, if I may put it that way. Only then when I opened myself up to accepting my emotions did I fully experience life with family, with my relationship with Gladly before we had a child. So there's something about emotions that I underestimated so much before. And I'm glad that right now I recognize it, I don't allow it to overtake me, but I don't disregard it the way I used to brush it aside.
Maybe I want to add something to that.
Yes,
my dad, he's a doctor, so he grew up with typical Filipino machoism. So he had to control everything. He can't show emotion since he's a doctor, and that really hurt my mom. And my mom, when she was hurting, she would come to me and say, "Bakit ganito ang tatay mo? Bakit ganito siya? Bakit ganito siya?" It made me basically interpret, I should not be like him, like my dad. So it made me realize, it's better to be more emotionally compatible, at least be open, because we're humans. We're not robots, right?
Mm.
We have to show some type of emotion. And that's when I learned, you have to be emotional. Even though you want to cry, and sometimes there's that macho culture, it can be the Spanish culture. Ay, hindi pwede baka, kasi they'll show you, parang it's going to show your weakness. It's really not weakness. It's basically, we are supposed to be temperamental. We're supposed to be also, how can I say this in terms of our wives? We should be empathetic to them, especially what they're feeling. Again, I don't know when they go through when they have that monthly visitor now, that's a different story, but you just have to be empathetic as to what they're going through at the same time. And not only that, but also us as well. Because I saw that, should I say, the painful side of my mom and dad's relationship, my mom and dad's marriage, where my dad's he's supposed to show no emotion at all, and that hurt my mom.
Okay, I'll start shifting now to a deeper topic.
Doc, one more thing, just on that
Yes.
subject. I cannot help but remember Stephen Covey in his book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. The best conversations with the spouse, and I have experienced this, is when you talk about feelings. When you're at the level of feelings, there is a connection. And that
I agree.
connection is something that really makes a big emotional deposit to your wife's bank account. And I have personally experienced that. And thank God that I discovered that, because if I continued on with setting aside my emotions, could you imagine what my wife's emotional bank account would be?
Yep.
Yeah. So, I like what you said kasi importante talaga yun sa amin to hear what you feel. And men are not, you're not normal, Paolo normal men don't really express their emotions. They don't. Like if they're hurt or they were slighted by what you said, they would just keep quiet. Tama ba yun, Boni?
Actually, for me, I believe, contrary to what other people might say, I believe that I'm a very emotional person in my alone moments. I can feel my emotions, but I have learned how to control my emotion, because for me, if I let my emotion rule, life cannot go on the way it should, because I have certain responsibilities. So I don't allow my emotion to rule me. So I have learned to do that, and sometimes because of that, wrongly, I expect that from other people. Yun ang mali ko. Kasi yung other people naman, especially my spouse, syempre, women are emotional, as Paolo said. When you're able to connect on an emotional level, you are really connected, no? So doon ako minsan, doon ako nagkukulang eh. Kasi ako naman, sobrang intense ang emotion ko, sa totoo lang, na when I start weeping and crying, hindi ko na mapigilan, na it becomes like that's why when it becomes like something, a conversation that will lead to something very emotional, I shut off. I shut off na, because I feel like I'm going into a territory that I become uncontrollable.
Yeah. So I think women also need to know that and respect it. Kasi women are very emotional, and there are men who can't openly express their emotions. I think I can see where Bonnie is coming from. It's also a protection. Parang he feels that he needs to protect his wife from what he's going through. So might as well just feel the pain alone with God, yung ganon, something like that. Tama ba?
Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go now to what draws you to your woman and make you pursue her even if you're married na for a long time? Yung what draws you to her? O kaya i-reverse ko, what turns you off and what turns you on? Yung parang, when I say turn on, yung parang, ito yung pinakasalan ko na babae. Ito yung this is my girl. That's my girl. That would make you say that. Hirap ba?
I'll
Yes,
take a
Jay.
shot. Yes. For me, when my wife suddenly shows up, dressed up and fully, made up.
Made up.
Yeah, and she takes care of herself, and I see that. That really, draws me in her. And two things. One is that, and secondly, when she takes time or go out of her way to understand what the wants that my wants, I mean, or the interest that I have, like going out of her way, knowing what I want,
Yeah.
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 So those two things for me.
Good point. Yes. So I think the women watching here, you should take notes. Dress up for your man and also know what your man wants and what they like to do. We get into their world. Okay, so sino pang next?
Well, not really also dress up, but also be, at least in some way stay fit. Because I've seen a lot of my friends in the States. All of a sudden I said, is this the wife I married? Like, and when as men, we also we have our stomach, we go, but we still take care of ourselves, right? We don't want someone who looks so sloppy. Parang nawala yung interest mo na.
Oo. So physically is still important for the men to make you pursue her.
Yes.
Even if, di ba, hindi yan pwede pabayaan kahit na 40 years, 50 years na kayong married. Okay, so what turns you off? What turns you off?
Ako, may I try?
Sige.
Yeah, and please don't let my wife know.
The whole world will know.
No, just kidding. Kasi ako, I have this small fetish ba tawag doon? I like women who who are very articulate, those who write very well, and those who argue. And I met my wife sa campus newspaper. She was applying for a job, for a position, and I was the editor-in-chief. So may exam yun, gagawa ka ng features or gagawa ka ng essay, ganun. So she writes very well. So conversely, what turns me off really are those who paano ko sabihin yun? Yung hindi mo na siya makausap with a sense dahil nandoon na siya sa teleseryeng buhay of semi-reality, or alternative reality. Yeah, when I was younger, I was telling my wife, sweetheart, I'm fine with that if you like that. Pero sana naman wag akong uuwi dito one night na ang ikukwento mo sa akin ay ang buhay ng mga Sharon Cunetas or Nadine of these worlds. No? In other words, I enjoy meaningful conversation. Ganon. That is really to me a big attraction, and I guess that's also what makes me talk a lot with my wife, because we can talk about a lot of things. We're both over 60, and we still plan to do a lot of things, and somehow it turns back the hands of time, and make you feel that there's so much more we can do. Together. Diba? So turn on sa akin yung mga ganun.
Okay.
I want to wholeheartedly agree with that, Ed. It's very important to have a substantial conversation, something with substance. Because what really turns me on is something where there is no substance, like Ed was saying about talking about teleserie, about these other things that, why would you want to even converse about that? I mean, I know that's your entertainment, that's fine, but don't make it like it's some type of life issue. For me, it's very important, like Ed said, it's a big turn on. I think it'd be more of a turn on rather than the physical turn on would be the connection of the mind, of the substance that we talk about. Because, mind, for me, as we get older, the body is going to slip, but the thing is the mind is never going to slip when you age. But that's the most important thing. Like, for example, when we become seniors, what's the most important thing when you become seniors? Communication. When you get to talk to your partner with the same mind, you're in the same place, exactly, wavelength, rather than what you look like when you're like 90 years old, right? You'd rather still want to communicate with your partner. So the most important thing is substance, and like I must agree that with Ed, and also the big turnoff is when there is no substance in terms of your conversation.
Does a doting wife turn you off? Like, parang he's overly trying hard to please you.
Yeah, I think
that turn you off?
For me, that would be a turn off. Because the thing is, she has to feel secure in her own way, because that's who we married. For what, how the vow goes, for better or for worse. I accept all your faults. You also accept all my faults, right? But at the same time, if you're gonna sit there and don't, because you're insecure about something, don't be insecure about that, because you have to be secure in your own skin. I think the only way you can feel secure, that your wife can feel secure, is if you assure her every time. That's by assurance, and that's what it is.
So I'm going to throw this question to all of you. Do you want to be needed or wanted? Think first, before answering.
Needed or wanted.
Do you want to be needed by your wife or wanted? When I say needed, they see you as completing them. Pag need yan, need you. Pero pag want, they're very confident on who they are. They're fulfilling their purpose, God's calling, ganyan. But, they want you because they're attracted to you. They want to serve you, pero hindi yung need.
Thank you for clarity. Ako want.
Want, okay.
I think you made it very clear already, because it's hard when you're just needed, because you will not be able to fulfill all the needs. Mahirap, no? Mahirap.
Yeah.
Because karoon ng clash kasi you will not be able to do that, no? Your want is wanting you for who you are.
Yes.
Diba? I'm not able to give everything that you want, but you want me for who I am. Diba ganon?
Yes.
It's a nice feeling when you're wanted.
Yeah.
And that you talk about ego among men, I don't know how to call it, but I feel like men like me, we want para bang bida kami, parang ganon. Gusto ko bida ako. Ako yung bida.
Yeah.
Diba? Ayaw ko ng may ibang lalaking bida. Diba? Lalo na pag nasa church ka, ayaw ko na mas magaling yung pastor kaysa sa akin. Diba? Ayaw ko nun. Ayaw ko marinig yun. Wag mo na lang parinig sa akin kung mas magaling talaga siya. Diba?
Oo. That's important I just learned that talaga later in my married life. Kasi parang hindi ko maintindihan yun
I'd like to add.
Yes.
I'm attracted to strong and independent character. And early into our marriage, I told Gladys, don't change. Don't try to change just for me. And I think it's Dom who said that's the very reason why I married you. I was attracted to who you are. And in the same way, I'm not home improvement project.
Mm-mm.
So early on, I think it was good for us to have that kind of conversation, to accept each other, strengths and weaknesses. I'm glad also that she articulates na yung want versus need in the same way that she expresses it to me. Because that's important. If I'm gone, I said, yeah, you should be able to stand on your own and make decisions on your own.
Yeah.
And I value that a lot. So it is you, the whole package. And you know when to play your role, to submit, and when you have that independence to make decisions. So that's something that attracts me. My pet peeve on the contrary is if for example it only happened maybe twice in our 22 years when there was a decision that was made that I wasn't consulted on, which I considered major. So you should have told me about that one. So we should have talked about it. So
am I right when I say that when your spouse needs you, there's more pressure and parang all the more you want to back off. But when your wife wants you, then parang it kind of incentivizes you to pursue her?
Are you asking me, Doc?
Any.
And
Kasi parang pag need kayo, parang mamamatay yung asawa ninyo pagka wala kayo dyan. Do you like that kind of wife?
no, actually not.
No, right? Oo.
Yeah. So again, I go back to that independence that I value so much. You were a person, she was a person before I knew her. She can make her own decisions. Why should it change? It will change in the context of how we relate with one another and the way we live life together and make decisions together. That was how it was for us. So I'm fortunate that we communicate at that level. We are able to share each other's point of view. My wife is very good at selling more than I do. She also has a holistic view of a good judge of character of people around me, and very entrepreneurial as well. So I value that and thank God for blessing me with a wife like that. And then when it comes to children and raising children and spending time, she's a school teacher, so she has the background and the character to be very patient with her only daughter.
Okay. So, accurate ba na sabihin ko na it's not right for women, married women, to say to their husbands that you complete me? Kasi
lang yun.
Tasini nga lang yun, di ba? Kasi dapat, before you even enjoy your marriage, you have to be complete already.
Yes.
And not...
That means you have something to give. Each party has something to give.
Kung aasahan yung asawa to complete him or her, then it's not gonna work.
Yeah. Walang katapusan na
walang katapusan talaga. Oo. Okay, that's why God is so important in a marriage. Okay, so we have a lot of topics to cover and we already reached about an hour with this discussion. So there's going to be a part 2.